let's do it live on a Friday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. Merely Bo, the great Z. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great, brother. I'm great. By the way, went home yesterday in our beautiful kit from Mike Dixon and wore it in the store, and I got like 3 compliments on it in the store.
It's gorgeous.
It's a beaut.
It's gorgeous. Bootsy had it
People
on last night.
Oh, yeah?
He was.
He had it on. What do you mean?
All it was
it's
like
bigger
his
than
head.
him.
It just was his head. Was all that was.
Yeah.
So his gimmick. He stumbled upon it on his own. I don't even know. Are you guys aware? You'd have to be a man in your 40. I don't even know if I can get into it.
We are.
Okay. Do you remember?
You're amongst
You
friends.
guys remember the comedian Tim Conway?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Do you remember the golf bit he did
Tim Conway. Let me look him up.
No.
when he put his shoes on his knees?
No.
You don't remember this?
No. Z?
No.
Yes, you do.
Tim Conway golf.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you do remember it. You have to.
Was
All
he
right,
dwarf?
let me look.
Yes. Can we do that? Is that I don't know.
I think so.
So Bootsy stumbled into that bit last night. He had the hoodie from Dixon, which is gorgeous, and then he put his Crocs on his knees and was walking around, and he looked like one of the little guys from Star Wars. But all I could think of is Dorf on Golf.
Yeah, Dwarf on Golf. 1987 comedy short film starring Tim Conway, Vincent Chiavelli, and Michelle Smith.
It was on all the time.
Oh, yeah. I'm
Like on
looking
Sunday
at,
afternoons,
Oh, yeah.
it
And he
was
wore
on
that like
all the
flannel
time.
like vest.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what he was doing. He was doing that last night. That was his operation.
Yeah, I don't know
Was
that
doing
Dwarf on Golf would be greenlit today.
Probably not. Probably
like
not.
no, but-
Probably no. But it was the 80s.
was the
Freewheeling.
80s, yeah.
And he had it, Bootsy, as it turns out.
wind.
By the way, so another because of the Uncle Baby Billy guy, I then last night after basketball, after the basketball practices, I went and rewatched all of his scenes. I went on the Max app and watched all of the Uncle Baby Billy scenes.
You can
from
do that. You
Season
can
3.
sort by scene. Like this is like NFL
It doesn't
film.
take very long to
Yeah,
find
yeah.
him
Yeah,
because
no.
he's heavy in several
Look at Jay.
episodes. And then,
Oh, he's hiding.
oh,
he's
Jay
hiding.
is hiding. God, where is he?
There he is.
Ah.
Jay.
The I just watched the Uncle Baby Billy.
I wish we had
scenes.
I wish we had
on
a
all of
J
this.
cam right there.
There's a lot going on out there.
Yeah.
It's the Uncle Baby Billy scenes are incredible. It's incredible stuff. One thing after another.
So did you start season 1?
No. I just went
watching
no because
this
they
last-
changed him dramatically.
Yeah, he was
he
like-
was so hateable.
He was
like,
a bad guy.
When I kept telling you like
How
how
great
big
he
of a
was.
fan he was,
Yeah.
you're like I don't. He's actually terrible. He's
I mean, he has
horrible.
zero redeeming qualities.
There's none, and I'm like, give it a minute. You're going to
and
be.
now I love him.
Now you love.
Come
him.
on
See-
now.
Come on now.
How'd you doubt me?
So then
I want to be Uncle Baby Billy for
it.
Christmas. I feel like it's late.
it's past,
Or I mean
yeah.
Halloween. Well, Christmas too. Why not? Every
dress
holiday.
Uncle Baby Billy every
It's Santa.
holiday.
It's Santa. Uncle Baby Billy.
So the more I thought about it, and I had this conversation with my wife last night, I'm like, there's only 2 options here. Because this guy was in a white suit with an ascot. So there's one of 2 options.
And
the
he
dark
had the
rimmed
same glasses.
and the same hair. So either it's one of 2 things, and I reject anything else.
Okay.
It's either he likes the look and is going for it of Uncle Baby Billy, or he is the inspiration for Uncle Baby Billy from Danny McBride. I think those are the 2 options, and there is nothing else that's possible. It was too close.
I like that.
I don't know which one it is. I could believe either one. I could believe that you could look at Uncle Baby Billy and be like, yeah, I think I can be that guy. That seems
think-
appealing in Southern California in the desert where there's a bunch of silver hairs running around.
It's not often that I levy a criticism in your way, but I think you missed an opportunity. I think you need to go talk to this guy.
It's
like
an
when you
incredible
see it,
failure.
I think like
There was
you,
too much family around.
It doesn't matter. White
I could have
forget
sent
it.
the emissary. I should have sent Bootsy.
Yeah. Be like, our table digs your style.
I gotta know what's
What's
going
the
on.
story? Is this your Uncle Baby Billy? Like, what if he is? What if that? What?
What if he was the inspiration?
Yes. And you were this close to him.
It's one or the other. He either loved the way Goggins looked playing the part, or he is.
100%. Both would be phenomenal
Both
stories.
would be amazing. Yeah. I'm so disappointed.
Closed mouths don't get fed, Bo. You gotta
I know
ask
it's
a question.
a bad job. So it turns out Bootsy had a pretty eventful night. Not only so he has the school, then he got to participate in the father-son game where I was potentially critically injured, but apparently before that,
That's right.
he
and
has
I
interaction.
teamed up.
So I'm at 4.5 hours of basketball, and I get back and I get in the car, and Bootsy goes just kind of nonchalantly, Oh yeah, I played Fortnite with Mr. Z.
It's true.
Which happened. So I go, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You played Fortnite with Mr. Z. So he has the rule for him on it is he can only play it when he plays it against his brother, one upstairs, one down.
Yeah.
He can't get into the world.
Right.
Like
right.
that's it. That's the only way that we allow it. But when I'm gone, my wife doesn't know how to adjudicate that. There's no way she knows.
So I was on with my son,
Naturally.
with El Boots, and
Who's like a dude.
he's
Crazy dude at it.
Yeah, like he's a savant. He does. I don't even comprehend the things that he does. But I got a couple of like friend requests, or invites to join the party, like 5 in a row. But I didn't recognize because the gamer tag, their Fortnite name, or their I guess Epic Games or whatever, their Fortnite name is different than the gamer tag that I know as being you. And so after the game happened and I had all these, I went and looked and I was like, oh my God, it's one of your kids for sure, or you. I was like, maybe you're trying to hit me up for some Fortnite. But then you didn't text me. So I was like, I don't know what's going on. So I went over and so they joined my party. And then we started talking, and all of a sudden, he's like, Mr. Z, it's Bootsy. I'm like, what? I was like, what's up, Bootsy? He's like, it's amazing. He's like, yeah, we're playing Fortnite. He's like, let's play. I'm like, all right. And the next thing I know, we're like loading into a game, and then he got booted out for the first game, and then NBC took over.
Yeah.
And he was like, Mr. Z, what's up? Let's do it. And I was like, all right, where do you want to drop? Frenzy Field, sure. We drop right in there. We had a quick one. I was down early. And then in the early game, if you don't get shotgun and you're in a congested place, from the way I play, it's going to be
quick.
If they have a shotgun and I don't, they're going to probably kill me.
Yeah.
And so I got knocked, and he's like, don't worry, Mr. Z, I'm going to get that kid. And then he went and got him. And then, unfortunately, the guy's teammate took out NBC. And so we were done quick. But then Bootsy's like, my turn. So Bootsy gets on there, and Bootsy's like, I was like, this is where, he's like, where do you want to drop? I'm like, love it, Bootsy. He's like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to classy courts, land at the tennis courts. We're going to loot up real fast, and then we're going to go make our move and go get some medallions.
Yeah.
He's like, love it. So we go, we land there, we loot up. A couple people are killing us. Doesn't matter. I kill them all, take care of Bootsy's like pumped. We get in a car, we go, and we go get our medallion, but they had killed Bootsy, and then I killed them and rezzed him, and he's like, you're carrying, Mr. Z, you're carrying. And I was like, I'm not selling the bread, Bootsy. He loved it. So we got our medallion, and then we're rolling. Like, we're going good, and now we're starting to just, like, steamroll people. We're working together. He likes to use the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle swords, and he's wrecking people, and I'm wrecking people. It's like, we're on fire right now. We're like 10 kills in. We're on top of the world. We're now down to like the final 10, and then you start, or maybe we're like 15 at this point, and you start to hear negotiations happen. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with this.
Oh, I should also add that in the middle of this, some point in the middle of the game with Bootsy, your wife gets on the headset to confirm that I am in fact me. And they're not just talking. So I was like, yes, it is me.
How you doing? Everything good?
How's it going? It's like, how was
Having a good
Bighorn?
day?
I was like, how was Bighorn? I heard it was great. She's like, okay, I'm just glad it's you. I'm like, okay. So then Bootsy back says, like, Mom, come on. So he gets the headset back on. Like I said, we're rolling. And then all of a sudden I started hearing negotiations like, come on, Mom, we got to finish the game. We're going to get a Vic. Just bring me some shorts. He kept saying that. Just bring me shorts. That's all he needs. He's like, just bring me shorts. I'll be fine. And then we get down to the final 10, and we're like rolling now. We've got like 3 of the medallions. We're rolling. We're cruising. It's like we got a one-way ticket to Vic Town. Like there's no doubt about it. And we're talking about it. He's excited. I'm excited. And then all of a sudden, he's like, ugh, I got to go. And he's gone. Just vaporized. Just like that. I gotta go.
So here's what I assure you is happening on the other end. NBC had a 7:30 basketball practice where we did.
So the drop was 7-11 gone. I remember.
So that's about how long it takes to get from home to gym.
Okay. He was asking for 7:50. He's like, we can make it 7:15.
Of course. As wide as it's not his practice. All he's doing, by the way, is paratrooping in on a parent-son game where he's going to play, where the rules are the 6th graders cannot steal it from him and cannot block his shot. So he just shoots all the time. he wants to
Is
be
he the
point
one
guard.
of one in this rule?
No, there's there's like 2 or 3 others who play.
Okay.
But he is by far the most selfish. He is
He was an unselfish teammate. I'll say that.
Yeah.
He was a good teammate.
I mean, the amount of times last night when I'm like, look up, and he would just like you go to inbound the ball, he'll come 2 feet from you, go like this, gets it, and then we'll just weave and then shoot in the middle of the trees, like every time. And I'm like, dude, on the way home, in fact, before I found out about a Fortnite or any of it, I told him, I said, buddy, he goes, how did I play, Dad? Because he had like 10 or something like that. And I go, you played well, but I'm going to tell you something. You have got to learn to pass the basketball,
Nobody
or
likes the
people
ball,
are
huh?
not going to want to play with you.
That's right.
You have to pass the basketball. Okay. Oh, yeah, and then I played Fortnite with Mr. Z, and I went, what world am I living in? What is going on? Meantime, I mean, that's an
expect it
unbelievable.
either.
First of all, it pleases me beyond words that they were so excited that you were on that they had to play with you. That's so cool. I
It was
think that's
awesome.
so great that happens. I don't understand that game. I play the other stuff with them. I don't know that game. I can't. At this point in my life, I can't pick it up. But they love it. So the idea that like he was so jacked to like see you and play with you, I just think it's amazing. So that's a big win.
Just getting to hear his like
Yeah.
some of his comments, and he was a great, very supportive teammate. We really worked together. Like I got in a car, and I thought he was in, and he's like, "Wait for me, Mr. Z." He's like, "Hold on." But just when he started with mine, he's like, "Just shorts, Mom. I just see shorts. That's all he needs." He's like, "How many? Come on."
Why can't I have it all? Why
And
can't I
then-
play Fortnite and be the star of the father-son game of which I'm not in the grade?
Right.
And
Yes,
give
he
me a
wanted it all.
snack or 4.
The best part, I did ask him. He didn't answer because we were like, I don't know why he didn't answer because something was going on in the game, and he was like locked in. I go, I heard you crushed a lot of snacks at Bighorn.
That's all he does.
And he didn't. He did that one.
There
He
was
did-
no
yeah,
answer to that.
no
Yeah,
answer to that.
it's his favorite meal. Yeah. So in between that, we had and
I did say to him, I said, I heard you were pretending to be tired at dinner so you could get out of there.
Yeah.
And he laughed. He
did
goes,
he?
Yeah.
Did he? Yeah. That's the whole act.
It was honestly, it was one of the funny. It was a very funny
That's
15
unbelievable.
minutes. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was hilarious. And then your wife
amazing.
getting on the blonde,
Just making sure that you're not playing with some random adult.
Yeah, some random.
God. What are we doing?
She
But
should
I
know
can
that if
see
they're
him-
not on the headsets, it really doesn't matter who you're playing with. If you're not on the headsets, you can't talk to them. They can't
She doesn't.
contact,
She
talk
doesn't
to
have
you.
any point of
It doesn't
reference of
matter.
the world. Like she doesn't.
Yeah.
She's never played video games. She doesn't have a point of reference of like how do they communicate.
Right. If you're
You
on
know.
heads and you're talking to people, then you're talking to people. But
Yeah.
if
So they
weren't
must have been in
on-
headset with you though.
Yeah,
right?
we got on. I had to go put on
put
a
on a
headset, and so I could talk to him.
Yeah. So this was the final father-son or parent-son.
Bootsy.
It's Bootsy. Just it's unbelievable. Who else would it be? Of course. Yeah, he had a hell of a night because then he ended up playing in the parent-son game, and I had to bench him a couple of times. He was not pleased by that. And so like this was the last one though with this group of kids because that was the last time I'll ever coach NBC in anything was that.
Oh,
we play
man.
this weekend, but that's it. From here on, it's paid coaches. So this was it. So it was the final one, and I was talking to my buddy who I coach with. I'm like,
It's emotional.
I'm like, well, yeah, but also they can't win. I'm
No.
not going to deal with that. Like, we're not having that. So we're like, look, we got to go, and I'm not going to be in a
How
situation
could you?
where
Of course, you guys are going to win.
you'd be surprised at 6th grade, like just how in shape they are, and how they at that age, like they can all shoot from a long ways. Like it's not as easy as you think, and it's a long court, and it was 2 15-minute halves.
I feel like
Right.
we would score every single time we had the ball.
Yeah, I guess if
You
like
threw it into
you're,
me, I
you're
would be like-
6'5",
I would
yes.
be like Shaq.
But if we didn't have that, we
I'd be
didn't
the
have
big
you would
Aristotle.
be. Yeah, like you guys would just be.
Give it to me. It's a layup.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
Get off
I'd
me,
be
kid.
Mutombo and kids right
You
in
Oh,
the
would
I
be,
gotta
yeah.
be swatting
Now we
everyone.
do. There's that type. Yeah, we did not have the 6, but I'm like, we're not losing. So my buddy was like, yeah, no, we're not losing. So Bootsy and his buddy Sevens wanted to start, and I go, you guys, you're not starting because I'm not going to go down 12-2. These punks hit a bunch of threes, and we got to chase them. Like we're going to get up 12-2, and so we did. And then you guys can monkey around, and we'll make sure the lead is safe. And it was 4 or 5 for most of it. And probably in the first 10 minutes, Buddy grabs a rebound, hits me for an outlet. One of the kids comes up to like kind of press me, and I just kind of moved in a jarring fashion and I felt what I would describe as a lightning bolt go down my right leg, and then kind of like a rubber band, like through my hip, down my back of my leg.
You got so
And
your
I go,
right side sciatica, my left side. We're
It's a
walking
mess.
wounded.
Like,
We're
so
the
I
mess.
go, first of all, I thought, my God, did I tear my hamstring? Am I done? I don't think I've torn my hamstring. But I also was like, I'm not, in fact, right now, and the drive over here is the most I've sat down since. I'm like, I'm not going to stop walking up and down because I felt like if I would, the paramedics would have to come.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep going. So I kind of just sped walk around to try to put myself in position to make some decent passes. We ended up winning, but that was the night. And so he actually, it's crazy that he had this night that he had because his it really was all of it.
Was NBC bummed that you guys won?
No, he had a really good attitude about it. Let's see. Yeah, look at him out there. I think this is him.
So I just
there he
want
goes. Now he's
to. I
got
just
it.
want to recap. 2 weeks ago,
Buckets, dude, little crossover buckets.
2 weeks ago, you thought you broke your ribs right before
That's right.
you left on vacation.
Yeah, still painful.
You're not cut out for sixth grade
Still
playing
basketball,
sixth
brother.
grade
Yeah.
hoops.
You're not cut out for
And
sixth
last
grade
night,
hoops.
No.
you almost thought you tore your hamstring.
I thought I tore a hamstring. I really did. And it's clearly some sort of nerve thing in my back, which is worse news, I think, almost than a torn hamstring. I'd rather have that. But I don't know. We got to find solutions. But yeah, it was a fun night. And then so like to get in the car, go through the pain, and then hear this story was amazing.
Like, wait, what?
I go, what are you talking about? And then I always have, because I'm not on my phone. I'm coaching and stuff, so I'm not on my phone. So I always have like 20 messages by the time I get out of a basketball
Yeah.
practice. And sure enough, then I get to start to read them, and then I see yours. I've just put myself in your shoes, like, what is going on?
I was like, and then I wanted to tell you so you knew, like, it
Yeah.
was
Look,
me. I
it
was
is
like,
me.
"That's
It's fine."
I was like, just so you know, your kids hit me up.
God.
I mean, what are you supposed to
amazing.
say when you hear, Mr. Z, it's Bootsy.
Come on in.
Come on.
Let's go. I also love
man.
the
We
way
got to
that-
get a Vic together, though. We got
the way the end of that you played out is a scene that plays out 4 to 6 times a day, in my house.
Yeah.
Where he is hoping to angle for one more of something.
Yeah.
One more snack, one more minute up, one more minute before bedtime, one more minute before I come to dinner, one more minute of Bluey before I have to go get in the car to go to school. Everything is a negotiation with him.
I am curious if NBC, because he was, I think, watching, knowing how close we were to Vic Town, if he would have allowed for. We really needed like 5 more minutes. That's all we needed.
All right. So it would have been his practice that they would have been late for.
Yeah.
I'll text him. So were
'Cause
you aware of how close Mr. Z
We were right there.
And
We were
Bootsy
knocking on Victory's
were
door.
to a Vic
Yeah, it was Vic Town.
last night?
I would have sent you the clip. If we got that, I would have clipped it and sent it to you.
All right.
Me and
I
Bootsy.
think he's at lunch. So we'll get an answer.
We'll get an answer.
We'll get an answer from him.
Yeah, Bootsy.
How close it
Did
was. What a
Bootsy
night.
did Bootsy lament that in the car? Did he make note of that?
He was very upset about how close they were. How close you guys were. He thought that it was absurd that he had to leave.
Yes.
He was very disappointed.
I think if you're allowed to
And
drop,
I don't know that he ever, quite honestly, I don't know that he has ever had that.
been
So
close.
probably would have been his first ever.
maybe this
And
maybe
so
this
his-
afternoon.
So
Maybe
he
this
was.
afternoon.
He was
Do
lamenting.
you have practices today?
No practices. Today.
Maybe this
So
afternoon.
it's
And you can be there.
Then
you
I can witness
You can
the
be a part of
greatness.
it. Yeah. Come on now.
Come on now.
I want an Uncle Baby Billy character in Fortnite. I would play with that all the time, exclusively.
That would solve it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's great. Absolutely great. So there you go. Those are your hot topics of the day, presented by Vivid Seats, official fan experience
piping
partner
hot.
of your Cleveland Browns. That's just a random Thursday, kids. It's a random Thursday. That's what you get. Coming up.
I think it's a Friday.
Oh God! Thursday night last
Is
night.
what happened on a Thursday.
It happened on a Thursday. Recanting it on a.
I was like, I hope it's Friday.
I'm not coming here tomorrow if it's not. I'll tell you that. We'll go.
Same.
Gibby's going. It's Friday 3 days ago.
By the way, real quick before you
Yeah.
go to break, just because we're in the fun part, just I had one more. It's
Oh,
not,
yeah,
It's not
yeah.
a fun story per se, but it's like, when you go on a great vacation,
Yes.
when you come back, something's going to happen to smack you in the face and be like,
That's right.
vacation's over, pal.
Yep. What'd you get?
Dryer, dead, kaput, middle of a load. I walked in and I could smell it. I could smell. I was like, something's off here.
I got a
opened up
guy.
I just got it. I had somebody fix it, and they did a very nice job. But like they were like, this is on borrowed time. I made it 9 years. I mean,
that's a hell of a run.
It's a solid run, and
Yeah.
it gets good use. So that was it.
Was that an original to the house when you bought it?
I bought it right when I moved.
Okay.
in.
All right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, thinking back timeline-wise.
Yeah. No. So yeah, 9 years.
We're on our third since moving in, since 16.
Okay, and I moved in 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So it's good. It's good.
Great run. Yeah. I think you're pleased with that. That's what you're looking at.
I am pleased with it, but then it's just like
It just
I'm not
sucks.
pleased with
what comes next.
Here's the bill because now you need
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Do you remember I know that you guys will remember this as well. Do you remember that Maytag's whole operation was the Maytag repairman, that he never had
Absolutely.
anything to do, right? That was the whole thing, that he never had anything
Right.
to do.
That was his whole gimmick.
Then they realized, you know what? What if instead of he doesn't have anything to do because they last so long, what if you just have to buy a new one every 3 to 5 years now?
Yeah, that's
the
better.
new business. I feel like we'll do better if we just have these things break about every 5 years and you have
And
to
when
buy
they
a new
go,
one.
it's gone.
It's gone. There's you can't fix anything anymore. Once it goes, it's done.
How about we were talking about the airlines will hit you for you want
yeah.
this seat now. Oh, you want to bring a bag. Oh, you want to get a
Welcome
snack.
to a la carte flying.
Yeah.
Totally right. And this is gonna sound like a get off my lawn guy, but in the old days, and
That's
in
right.
fact, when I bought these back in 2015, this washer and dryer, when you bought a washer or dryer, they installed it and took your old one away. That was just
That's
like a
100%.
part of the service.
That's part of the deal.
Now you pay for installation.
Yep.
You pay for them to take your other thing away is $50. So like,
Yeah.
and it used to be like when you bought, it came with all the stuff it needed to be installed. Now you have to buy the installation
Sure.
kit.
Of course you do.
Like why? What dryer comes without a plug? What are you talking about?
Got to have it.
It can't work without it. That'd be like if you ordered, I don't know, if you ordered like a TV, and then you had to buy a plug for the TV to be able to plug in and work.
Yeah. This is necessary.
So now you get about $150 worth of nonsense on top of the
top of it.
price
Yeah.
for stuff that used to all be free. Did you see
That sucks.
how much money they just released how much money the 20 biggest airlines have made off of baggage fees in the last year?
Oh God.
It's disgusting.
Yeah. And now they're going to start charging for carry-on. That's
It's
what's next.
Well, yeah, the Frontier's been charging for carry-on.
Yeah.
Frontier charges more for a carry-on, I think, than a
Then
check.
the check. That's what they're going to have to go to incentivize people to go back to the check.
If they're going to do that, then let's get some efficiency and decency. Like the bags just come off, you drive them over, and then they come. Look,
That's got to be much
that
quicker.
process has to be faster.
That has to be quicker. It's not. It takes forever.
I could say we were somehow, I guess, Kayla had gotten us the fares, and I'm sure she got very economical fares.
Sure, yeah.
So we found ourselves in the back of the bus.
Yeah.
You can wait. Like,
Might
how come
explain
people
your
can't get
back
off of a
problem.
plane?
I can tell
How
you.
hard is it to get off of a plane?
It's because they all have to unload the stuff.
That's fine, but you know when stuff. You know, oh, it's getting to be my Rose time. I'm gonna get out, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's a-
be stood, and I'm gonna.
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
it drove me nuts. We were in like, there's a lady in row 27, and by the time she actually began her walk down the aisle to leave, there wasn't another person in the row. There's not a person in the aisle to the front of the plane. Like, you can't be that slow. It should be boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
And
Not
if it's
hard.
going to be that slow, you just wait till everybody else gets off the plane.
Couldn't
Here's
agree
the
more.
other thing.
While you're on the subject.
Well, I'm on the subject. Like,
Boy, you
get,
are on a pedestal.
get
today.
faster with that. Like, if I'm in the last row,
Yeah.
not reclining, back hurting, terrible. My bag should be there by the time I make it
If
to
you
baggage
check
claim.
it?
Yeah,
100%.
not the
You
case.
waited 20 minutes.
I waited to
At
get
least to
off,
get off.
and then I waited another like 15 minutes for my bag. What are we talking about?
That's impossible.
So
I agree.
the other thing is, and they do this thing now, and I'm sure you guys have all heard it, right? So we flew through Dallas en route to Phoenix. We had a connection. We were fine. It was like we had an hour or whatever.
Yeah.
But they say on the planes, and you've heard this, if you're coming back to your home city, like if you're not getting on another plane today, just sit and let everybody who's on a connection go.
Because we're all so
No.
honest.
Nah.
Not
No.
a single person went back to Dallas that morning.
No, of
not
course
one,
not.
because everybody got off. Which
By the way, do you blame them?
not at all.
Not at all. So don't ask it.
Just don't even say it. It just is. Now, what they could say is we need everybody to sit down unless you're on this particular flight or that particular flight because they've
You're
told
tight.
us already, like, you need to go
Yeah.
to make your connection. And then everybody sit down, they get to go.
Yeah.
And they should
I
say,
agree.
we know who's sitting where and what you have. Like, we know. It's all in a computer.
Yeah. I just think there's no decency in it.
Well, there's no decency.
There's none.
But listen,
But no, that's a common sense thing.
the
Yeah.
thing to me is if you truly were going back home and you checked the bag, just sit there. Let the people go.
for sure. If you checked a bag,
If
you're
you
not going
didn't check a
anywhere.
bag,
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
We are in such a
You're
hurry
ready to go.
to get on the things, and we're in such a hurry to get off of them.
I'm last on every plane I get on. I have no interest in sitting on the plane any longer
But he's
than I have
definitely
to.
one of the first to get off of the plane.
Well, no, I was actually I was also last.
Miss K.
On the charter flight, dude, it is like a debt. You are like, if you could sprint
I
to
don't
the
blame
car, you would be.
No, I do sprint to my car because then I want to be able to get out a lot because it's 3 a.m. and I'm ready to
I
go
want
home
to
to my bed.
Yeah, I'm good.
That's not following the rules.
Wait
that
till you
have been
guys-
set forth by
What time are you guys going to
The
get home on that
operation.
flight back from Brazil? Is that going to be like a 7 a.m.
bite your tongue.
the next day? When's that going to be?
So
10-hour
it's-
flight?
It's
12.
yeah, it's 12
12?
with connections. I looked this up. It's
It's
12
probably
if
10.
you go through Dulles.
But you're going to have to stop somewhere to refuel, aren't you?
No, you can do that.
You got
we'll be on
something-
like a 777.
A big guy, and you're
Yeah.
going to be. Then that guy can get.
Maybe
down
we'll be
there.
on a Dreamliner.
Maybe.
We were on something.
You
like
might
that
have
when
to
we
be
went
with
to
players. You're going to have to be, because it's got to be a 10-hour flight straight.
They might have to do like multiple planes so that players get like their own. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need.
A 9-hour
London. Well,
flight.
we the plane we flew to London.
Yeah.
That was a totally different airliner.
That's an
a big boy.
international plane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's your big
I think it was
boy.
a
everybody
777.
everybody had room. We all had our own row.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it was
Well, they'll have to do something like that
Yeah,
because this is even.
But they
further.
sent another plane that had everybody else on it, and they actually went on a Dreamliner.
it was the booze plane,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
No, none allowed on an
the
NFL
booze
plane.
cruise.
All right,
Not
there
for
you go.
us.
Those are your hot topics of the day.
Boy, is it.
There, you got you 7 more.
The
minutes
next
out of
level
that.
is next.
should be.
It's presented by Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. Coming up next, we'll go around the league. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Miss Billy Joe, Rod Stewart together for the first time ever. It's Friday, September 13th. It's at Cleveland Browns Stadium. The tickets are on sale. Visit clevelandbrownsstadium.com/Billy and Rod 2024.
Billy and Rod 2024.
It's Billy Joe, Rod Stewart together for one night only. All right, let's go around the league. This was from the Greenlight podcast with Chris Long, and this is the Chief talking about when we brought along Joe Flacco. Let's have a listen.
What did you think, man, when you pulled Flacco off the street?
When I saw on Instagram that we got him.
Yeah.
And then I saw him in the training room, and I kind of like sized him up. You know, he was on the Ravens for so many years. I think my rookie year he beat me.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure that he undercover op, you know. But he was awesome. He was a blessing for sure. That chemistry happened just like that, you know. It was almost like I knew when he was throwing it to me before the ball was going to snap, just because like I just it was more like a feel. But no, we definitely had fun, you know. Hopefully he stays in Cleveland.
Chris does a good show. That Greenlight pod's a good one.
Yeah.
And that's a very good I mean it was very natural. Like Joe was, this is the read, he's open, throw it to him. And he did a lot. So that's 300 yards every time out.
The second he got on the field and started just throwing the ball around at UCLA, it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this is
All
different.
right. And we like this. Yeah, this is good.
We may have a chance with this.
Yes.
This is the way that goes. All right, this one. So here's the background on this. Okay, so
Chad Johnson was on.
We're missing the initial
I'm
quote.
missing the initial.
Sharp's
Oh,
Nightcap
yeah.
podcast.
all right, so this is
Yep.
all right. This is the background of the next clip, which is this is Ocho Cinco, right?
Yep.
All right, Ocho Cinco was on Shannon Sharp's. Shannon Sharp is busy, man.
Well, they do it together.
Oh,
This
they
is the
do it
one
together?
where I showed you the clip of
but
like,
then he also
those
has
two
the
in prime.
Club
Made it
Shay
sound like
thing.
he was the guest on that podcast.
It's always the two of them. The Nightcap. It's the two of them. Something like Prime's been on it. They get people on it too, where they talk some crazy stuff.
Okay, so then we have the clip now of what is said, and this is in reference to Russell Wilson.
Yeah, so basically, Chad Johnson's on this podcast. He says, a little birdie told me, and I said this many shows ago, Russell Wilson's coming over there to the Steelers.
Okay.
When Sharp pushed back that the odds makers have Bears QB Justin Fields as the betting favorite to land with the Steelers, Johnson had the prediction for him. No, he insisted. Fields is going to Atlanta. I told you. I got the script.
I got the script.
I got the script. I wish I could have found that.
Oh,
clip,
man.
but-
That's unbelievable. I got the script. Okay, so the thinking being that Pittsburgh, it does seem to be that that the feeling around everybody other than Pittsburgh is that they're going to go get a quarterback. That they're not going to run
What
with
do you
Pickett
mean?
and
They're deciding
Mason
between
Rudolph.
Pickett and Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're moving like me. I do.
It's awful. It's bad. It goes through. It almost feels like it goes through the top of my hip, through and then down.
Yeah,
It's not great.
it's not a delight.
No, it's not fun. So they're going to add a quarterback. I think the thing that'll be interesting on the Atlanta front is if this is all that next week's going to be, by the way. This will be the story
He
next week.
needs to go to Atlanta. I've been saying that forever.
But if you were running the Falcons and I told you you could have Kirk Cousins for the next 2 years or Fields, considering they hired Zach Robinson from McVay's tree to run that offense, can't you win the NFC South next year with Cousins?
100%.
Can't you make a run in the NFC with Cousins with that talent? I think you could.
100%. Yeah.
So, like, I don't know what Fields will be in that offense. He'll be on his third
I think he'll be
offense.
pretty good.
He would be, but he's not accurate underneath the way that Cousins is.
No.
The ceiling's definitely higher for sure. But
And the idea of him standing back next to Bijan,
well, that's it. But so then Zach would have to build the offense that way to where it has a run heavy
an RPO
part of it. It's got to be
element.
similar to what Monken did with Lamar.
Yeah,
Is
that's
what
why.
you have to do.
They should have hired Monken
They should have,
and then brought Justin Fields in.
and then they would have been solved. Problem solved.
Solved. They'd be
Elite.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's an insane miss.
So it is. So we've got Wilson, Fields, and Cousins will be big topics next week at the
Maybe a
Combine.
little Jameis thrown in. But he's a
Yeah,
second tier.
Unfortunately, I think
he's a second tier.
I like him and Bake. I think Bake, whatever happens. I mean, he's going to stay in Tampa, but like, what is that? His tone has been so strange.
Tampa.
What are his options? He's not going anywhere else. Like,
He's
what's
gonna get Danny Dimes money. They're saying
is that what they're saying?
40 mil.
No, for God's sakes. So that'll be it. And when is Chicago's GMs talk Monday?
Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, Tuesday. When the Bears say out loud whatever they're going to do, or they let it be known whatever they're going to do, it'll get out quickly. Like, then what is the market for Fields, and is he the first one to go?
Yeah.
All right. This is from NFL Total Access. This is our guy Steve Smith Sr. Reacting to the idea of Russell Wilson joining the Steelers.
All right, so little birdies notwithstanding, Steve, what should the Steelers do at quarterback, and is that answer currently in Denver?
Well, I mean, the question, you hold all the cards, Patrick. Do you want me to answer this as a former Baltimore Raven or as an NFL Network analyst?
Well, I do see, Steve, we've done TV with the Ravens helmet on. I would like to ask the former Baltimore Raven,
cool.
Steve Smith Sr. this question, yes.
All right. So if I'm a Baltimore Raven, I'm saying, oh, hells yeah. Bring him in. Bring him in. Because have you not seen Russell Wilson over the last 2 years? Have you not seen what's going on in the AFC North? You got Joe Burrow, who's going to be, he's going to have to prove, I don't want to say he's going to have to, but he wants to show that Jake Browning is a pretty good quarterback, but Joe Burrow's a better quarterback. You got Joe Flacco or Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. You got two-time MVP Lamar Jackson. Now you got Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. I don't really see Russell Wilson right now, based off his body of work, what he's done in Denver over the last 2 years, that you're sitting here going, oh my gosh, the Pittsburgh Steelers just got that much better. When you add a Russell Wilson with his salary cap, his guaranteed money, the way he impacts your salary cap, you now eliminate a lot of good players that can come on this offense, because your quarterback play, which is subpar right now, off the bat last 2 years in Denver, Denver's 21 games, 21 points. Let's round up, 22 points a game. That's not championship winning football. Now I know the Chiefs won the Super Bowl 17 points. They beat Baltimore Ravens 17 points, but they ran 94 plays. I'm not sure, and I didn't ask analytics. I didn't ask the researcher. I don't know when the last time the Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson at quarterback ran 94 plays in one game. Hell, they may have ran 94 plays in 3 or 4 games, but not one single game. That's just not happening. So good luck, Buttercup, if you're going to get Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh. But the AFC North, they got 3 good teams, and if Russell Wilson is your guy, he does not make your team better as of right now based on the statistical outcome, and that's my humble opinion. Sometimes I can't read, sometimes I can't count. But guess what? I can count and read today, and them numbers don't add.
My humble opinion.
I don't want to.
Sometimes I can't read.
That's amazing.
Sometimes I can't count.
I don't.
In my humble opinion.
Very humble.
Very. Yeah.
I love Steve Smith,
Love
and so
him.
I don't want to devil's advocate anything that he said, but because we're doing a radio show, I will.
Yeah.
Give it. Turn your
Too
mic
bad
on.
you had a light.
Yeah, if you had a light,
Then
you'd have
you'd
known
know.
that it was off when you said yes.
I had it on and then I turned it off.
Right, because you don't know what's on or off. It's the same button to do both.
That's a minor detail.
Well, feels like a big one. All right, Gibby, guess the stats. Russell Wilson, I want completion percentage, yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and rating.
Come on. How am I going to do all that?
All right.
Pick a couple categories.
Completion
I don't need this
percentage,
whole line.
touchdowns.
I'm going to go, I'll play guess the
Okay.
stats. I'm going to say completion percentage 66.
I'm going to say 71.
Okay. We'll do both of them. Keep trying to give it. Round 1, Bo Bishop, 66.4%.
All right.
Touchdowns, passing.
21.
24.
Okay. The answer is 26.
Round 2.
Round 2 to Bishop.
Bishop closer without going over. Good job, Price is
Interceptions.
right.
6.
I'm going to say 9.
So you guys both thought he was great. 8. He had 26
it's fine.
touchdowns, 8 picks. Quarterback rating, 98. And then he also ran for 340 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, he was getting on them for averaging 22 points a game. You average 22 points a game with Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Najee, Warren, Freiermuth, and that defense.
Yeah.
Like, that's
That stat line right there is something I don't need in the AFC North.
no.
What was he, probably 3,500 yards, or was it more
Just
than that?
3,000. 3,000
So that
yards.
was it.
200
So
yards a game.
The criticism was that it was all check down
Yep.
Charlie stuff.
But you throw 26 touchdowns and 8 picks. So basically he produced 2 touchdowns a game with 8 picks. 2 total touchdowns a game between that and that defense.
What did the Steelers average last year per game offensively?
Hold, please. Talk amongst
I
yourselves.
can't. Yeah,
That would be the big question.
I got you.
because,
Hold on.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
they'd be
he
nowhere
gives
near.
them, I don't want that in the
that's just
AFC.
for himself. He's producing 2 touchdowns a game,
That's what I mean.
let
himself.
alone the run
So-
game and everything else.
And if you put that squealer defense up, and you're able to score,
Go ahead.
This is what no, it's to say. This is what we were saying. This is what
Yeah.
smart people were saying. Team stats. All right, they scored points for 304 divided by 17. So certainly under 20 a game.
Yep.
They averaged 17 points. So I'd give them 5 extra points a game.
Yeah, that's.
bet that
and
changes the
how many?
record a
They
little
were
bit.
what, 9 and 8?
yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
and they gave
so
up.
That's 11 and
So if
11
they-
and 6, easy.
yeah.
Hold on. If they just scored 22 every single game, they are 0-1, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 4-2, 5-2, 6-2, 7-2, 8-2, 9-2, 9-3, 10-3, 10-4, 11-4, 12-4. I'm sorry, 11-4, 11-5, 12-5. If they scored 22 points every game last year, they would go. They would have been 12-5.
That would have been your counter, humbly,
Humbly,
in your humble opinion. That would have been the counter.
humbly.
Yeah, that's what that would have been. All right, the parade continues. This is new Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce on the Rush
This is
podcast
absurdness.
with Max Crosby
Absurdity.
on his Mahomes rule he's going to have in place.
Jordan rules, and I'm calling now from now on the Patrick Mahomes rules. So you remember when Jordan was going through it with the Pistons, all those guys in the 80s before he came, Michael Jordan, Air Jordan, the Pistons used to whoop his. Anytime he came to the home, elbows, feeling them, love taps. We touched them. We in the head, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I'm touching you. So I showed those guys Jordan getting his whooped.
You
So-
sure you want to go down that road?
No, it's a
Mr. Bishop in the front row.
If you are going to employ this, is it smart to go on your most popular player's podcast and say it out loud?
no.
Wouldn't the proper, smarter thing to do if you're going to be extra physical with Mahomes and give him an elbow to do it without anybody knowing so that they're not looking for it?
Number 1, yes. Number 2, it is
Bozo.
ridiculous. Number 3, this has all been out there.
It's back at 8:50.
This has all been.
Oh, yeah.
This has all
See?
been. This has all been out there. I remember watching a video
Yeah.
about this, about Crosby and Mahomes, and Crosby always. I don't remember if it couldn't have been Hard Knocks
It was the quarterback series.
On Netflix.
on the quarterback series on Netflix. So Crosby's been doing this anyway.
Yeah.
And Mahomes knows it, and I remember he typed,
they have
"Thank
a
you."
banter back
Yeah, they
and
had a
forth
banter
about
back
it.
and forth about it. But to say that he wants everybody to go try to do it,
This
That's
goes
good luck.
back.
It
This
gets-
goes back to
silly.
the interim coach had a nice little run, did some good things. Not sure it makes a lot of sense to run this back.
It doesn't make any well, no. And I just think
Sometimes
we-
that doesn't exactly
even
work. the way you want it
we
to.
are sometimes wanting more from Kevin, right? In these availabilities that coach has. Like you're hoping for a little more sometimes. But from his vantage point and from the vantage point of the organization, why?
Nothing is gained.
There's nothing gained from these comments,
No.
from saying this out loud. If anything, you now have a bullseye. Now the referees are going to be looking for all of the stuff and perhaps seeing stuff that isn't even there that's happening unintentionally, and you're going to be penalized for it. It's dumb on every level.
on every level.
Did Mike Greenberg have similar things to what we
I-
said about it?
Correct.
All right, here's Mike Greenberg from Get Up this morning.
I don't like it. I don't like hearing it. And if I'm the league, I'm doing something about it. And I'll tell you why. Protecting the quarterbacks is the most important thing the NFL can do. Patrick Mahomes is the most important player in football. He's as important a player as football has had in a long time. He is right there with Brady and Peyton Manning and Brett Favre as a draw. There is no bigger draw right now in the sport than Patrick Mahomes. Maybe Taylor Swift is the only bigger draw than Mahomes is. You cannot have coaches preaching hurting him. And I understand that he's not going to go so far as to say hurt him, but I'm telling you right now, if I'm Roger Goodell, I'm calling Antonio Pierce. I don't mean to be a fuddy-duddy on this, but I'm going to say, listen, I'm going to instruct my officials to be keeping a close eye on Patrick in your games because of what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Silliness.
Nonsensical.
Yeah.
Absolute idiocy. Yeah, I don't understand that.
It's one thing if Max Crosby talked about how this is how I like to kind of get under Mahomes' skin and do this, and
yeah,
you saw it on quarterbacks. It's been documented.
Yes.
It's another thing for a head coach to come out and say it.
Yeah, it's nonsense. You're not a player anymore.
No.
All right, coming up next, we mentioned Fields. Certainly will be one of the topics of the Combine. How quickly will it start to take shape? We'll get into that coming up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. Hey friends, Bo here from my great friends at James B. Beam Distilling Company. Nothing goes better with Knob Creek bourbon than a perfectly prepared steak. Knob Creek offering a $20 rebate when you buy their bourbon plus a steak. Together or separately, it really doesn't matter. Just upload a picture of your receipt to knobcreeksteakrebate.com. They're going to send you $20 to your Venmo account. Offer valid through April 30th, 2024. Must be 21 to participate. It's a fantastic deal.
Amazing.
See full terms at knobcreeksteakrebate.com. Knob Creek, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, 50% alcohol by volume. 2024 James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart. That is a very good deal.
It's a great deal.
It's fantastic.
Incredible.
Yeah. So, all right, this is Albert Breer. I think that this will happen very quick. You remember, of course, I know that you do, because you watched me stand on a step next to Kyler Murray when we were trying to decide how tall he was. And remember that week, though, when we were there, it was abundantly clear right away he's going one.
Yeah.
He's going one. So this stuff comes out quickly at the Combine, and I do think that you will get a Justin Fields answer very quickly. Albert Breer echoing those comments on ESPN 1000 in Chicago this morning, saying, quote, I think the bones of the trade will be set next week. There's some urgency on the Bears' part to get something done. Yeah, there sure is.
Well, and I would assume if there is indeed something going with Atlanta,
Yeah.
and you just talked about a new OC, like you got to know what you have so you can install the offense. So you can go get the players that you need for that offense.
So it's Atlanta, Pittsburgh.
No, Atlanta.
No, I know, but I mean, like, just who would be if from the Bears' position, if you're trying to get 2-2s, it's Atlanta, it's Pittsburgh, is it Denver?
Denver gave up so many picks to get Russ.
It almost
I don't think it is Denver.
probably isn't Denver.
No.
Like, if Denver moves off from Wilson, what are they doing? Are they tanking?
Who started at the end of the year for them? Who did they?
Can't even remember. I'm just going to say Trevor Siemian because it was a Trevor Siemian type, but it was not Trevor Siemian. I can't even recall who it was at the end of the year for them.
All right, so teams that could be interested.
Yeah.
I think you have those correct. Raiders.
Patriots are on here.
Definitely Raiders.
Pats are picking third, though, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they would have to.
Why do I keep seeing so much stuff about the Chargers picking quarterback?
I don't know, unless they're going to trade.
That seems so odd to me. Harbaugh took that job, I'm sure,
because of it. Yeah, that seems
Yeah.
silly. I think the Pats don't seem.
No.
But they're number 3 on the betting favorite.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Even though they're so, I guess what their thinking would be, here's 2-2s,
Get him and we'll draft Marvin Harrison.
and we're going to draft Marvin Harrison. So now we get an A+ receiver, and we get a first-round talent quarterback, and let's go.
Yep.
In a dome. What goes wrong?
Well, non-dome, New England.
Well, I'm talking Atlanta.
There really aren't a ton
Atlanta.
of suitors. Falcons. Yeah, I think
We had Atlanta, Vegas, and Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then you had Patriots as the fourth choice or the third choice.
Third,
So the betting choices are
Atlanta by a mile.
Atlanta by a mile, then Pittsburgh.
number
then,
2, Patriots number 3.
Yeah, Atlanta. He's going to Atlanta.
I
Where
mean, it feels
does-
like if that happens, like we've willed that to happen because we've been talking about that for 2 years.
Yeah,
Him there.
I've wanted it.
Yeah.
What? Where does Kirk Cousins go?
Well, see, that's the only kind of fly in the ointment. Like, to me,
I could see the Raiders taking a shot on Kirk Cousins.
yeah. Yeah. I don't think he'd want to play in Pittsburgh
I think he'd be interested in playing with Devontae Adams.
for sure. Yeah. And play in a dome and climate and all of those things. I don't know that he would fit Vegas much, but the rest of it works. Yeah, because it feels like New England, Washington, and obviously the Bears are going quarterback.
Yep.
New England could be interesting. Like if it's a 2-2s and they give up, I mean, their 2 would be, of these teams, their 2 would be the best. Their 2 would be what, 35 overall-ish? 30,
Yeah, and that.
somewhere in there.
Yeah,
So that might get it done. 35 overall, and you walk away with Justin Fields and Marvin Harrison.
which feels like a good thing.
If you're them, that
Yeah.
feels pretty good. Okay, I'm kind of convinced. I could see that. They'd have to jettison Mac Jones immediately.
Still on a rookie deal. That's appealing to somebody in the National Football League.
They'd have to trade him somewhere for somebody who maybe like Jarrah.
Couple footballs.
Nobody believe. Come on,
They liked him in the draft. Your
People
boy
believe
Kyle wanted him.
Mac Jones and Kenny Pickett. Nobody
We're going
wants
to get
him.
to Kyle in the evaluation
Hot
of
seat?
the top. There's some things going on.
A little bit of hot seat.
There's some things going on.
Gibby knows. I don't know. Did we talk to? I tell you what, who knows Pedro? He's absolutely on the
Not concerned.
on the forefront of all of those topics.
He's not concerned.
Yeah. So we'll get a good handle on that right away. And
It's
on where
the
that's
main
going.
reason to go to Indy is the information gathering and what you're told and kind of what you see.
Yeah. Also restructurings for David Carr and Geno Smith. By the way, I saw the cap was up 30-some million.
A ridiculous amount. It just happened right as our show was starting.
Yeah.
So that's good.
That's great news. Yeah.
Again,
up $30 million
circumventing the cap
from
never
last
became
year.
Easier.
Yeah, so it's up $30 million. So that's
Folks,
great news for us. I
that-
don't know why people last week. I think people were just bored. I mentioned like that Chief stuff and the Nick Chubb stuff. Like,
Yeah.
don't worry about that stuff.
No.
It is a record-breaking $255.4 million. From our good friend Dan Graziano, teams are working with a projected salary cap in the range of 242 to 245. At 255, it's a game changer for free agency.
Yeah, it's a game changer for the Browns. And folks, this is why a lot of the deals that the Browns made early, they were anticipating this, and so that somebody who's locked in at a certain number, that number is not going to look so bad with the cap going up the way that it is. And even Deshaun Watson's one of the reasons I think they did the deal that they locked it in at that time was it was going to be, when they ended up having to pay it, it was going to be much more manageable than it initially appeared. And I think they're going to restructure him again. I think that's all in play.
We talked about Kirk Cousins and where he might go. They've also released the what the tenders are for the franchise tag. Quarterback, $38.3 million.
Yeah, it's a big number.
It's a big number.
That is.
Receivers now 21.8. It was 20.7.
Okay.
Offensive lineman 20.9. Defensive end 21.3. Defensive tackle $22 million.
It's because
$24 million for linebacker if you want to franchise him. Corners at 19. Safety at 17.
Edge rushers. That's
That's
why
so
that's
stupid.
why you can't franchise an inside
That's
linebacker.
so dumb. They got to change the designation
Yes,
on that.
it's got to be
edge.
edge, interior defensive lineman, and edge.
Yeah, that's the way they got to do that. Speaking of interior defensive lineman and edge, we will hit the position review on both of those positions coming up here in the final hour. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And Bo here for my team at Renew Home Exteriors. Now we're introducing new Ascend composite clad siding featuring a deep grained look. It's beautiful. 20 available colors. Keep that just installed look for a lifetime with this low maintenance siding. Plus, with Renew's price match guarantee, you can be assured that you're going to receive the best price for your exterior project, even after you buy. Renew Home Exteriors, superior products and superior service. Visit renewestimate.com for more. Is it position review time?
It is. Our good friend Griff.
You know it.
Dipped his toe into the foray of creating.
Oh,
vignettes.
boy. Griff. Fresh off a Griff day.
I know. What a way to follow up GD.
All right, let's have a listen.
From the Browns 47, 3rd down and 5 for Burrow in the Bengal offense. And on 3rd and 5, he takes a high snap. He's up in the pocket. They're going to get him and knock him down. They sack him back at the 49-yard line. As the Browns blow in and get him, Obo Okoronkwo got him.
And you're going to give Miles credit. How about Jim Schwartz lines Myles Garrett up, standing up over the center, and pre-snap. Myles was acting like he was dribbling a basketball through his legs, blows right by the center, forces Burrow to step up, and Obo cleans it up. The new look pass rush, baby.
I mean, look, UC swag and badassery. I mean, y'all tell me, we're just having fun, out there, we're just playing together. We're a unit. We're a really close-knit unit, and we're just really having fun out there. And we're not really looking at the stats, everything. We know that if we have fun and play as hard as we can, then we'll get the results we want.
Browns show blitz. They bring it again. Ball is tipped in the air and almost picked off. Was it picked off by Maurice Hurst? Did the big fella get it? He did!
What a play by Maurice Hurst. Gets his left paw up there, tips it up to himself, and if he caught it, got his hands under it, the Browns have the ball in Seattle territories. We see a replay here off of his left hand. Then he has the wherewithal to track the ball, and we'll see, does he get it? It looks like he does. Looks like his hand is under the ball there. What a play by the D. A big fella interception, Chris Rose.
For the shotgun snap, he stands 3 yards deep in the end zone. Under pressure from Miles. Ball out. Fight for it to the end zone. Miles got home again. Who's got it? Browns do. Touchdown.
Miles Garrett is single-handedly taking over this game. That is his second.
A fumble in the end zone, recovered by Cleveland for a touchdown.
His second sack, strip, fumble. This one in the end zone as Minshew was trying to get it out, beating the tackle Raymond. And then it's Tony Fields in for the injured Sione Taki, next man up, falling on the ball, and the Browns have the lead again.
I like my chances, against just about anybody, whether it's 1, 2 guys, 3 guys. I'm going to continue to keep on battling. As long as he has the ball, I'm going to keep on rushing. And, those big moments when you got to make a play, I'm ready to step up. And, we all are on the D-line. Like we saw, ZD made the one at the end to seal it. But I'm thinking in my mind, this is my time. Go get it.
3rd and 6, Cardinals of the Browns 45-yard line. Tune gets the quick snap from behind the 50. He's being pressed, and he's going to go down right there at the 50-yard line, and it was Dalvin Tomlinson who brought him down.
That's his second sack of the day, Paul, for Dalvin Tomlinson, and these are sacks for Dalvin Tomlinson, but you got to give an assist to Myles Garrett because once again came around the end, almost got the ball out from Clayton Tune, forced him to step up right into Dalvin.
Just the execution, the chemistry we had up front with Myles, Obo, and Zeke coming off the edge like they were. Is like the quarterback, he couldn't go out the back of the pocket like he wanted to, so he had to step up to the inside, and us D tackles was right there waiting for him.
It's 1st and 10 to their own 20. And a fake handoff. Tune looking to throw, rolling to his right, hit while throwing. Ball comes loose. Beanbag is out, and it looks like that may belong to the Browns right around the 11-yard line. Is coming away with a football for the Cleveland Browns was Zadarius Smith. Shelby Harris appeared to be the player, Nathan, who knocked it away.
Yeah, Shelby Harris for the second time today gets through the line, and he gets the ball right out of Clayton Tune's hand as he tries to throw it. It may have been Myles Garrett picking that one up there, Paul, but this defense, you wanted a dominant performance. You wanted to show that you can be that elite team as he beat Yelda Froholt, the former Brown, got the ball out, and Myles was right there and may have been able to get in, but he ran into Obo Okoronkwo.
Smith and Garrett, the defensive ends, as
20.
Can't get away from Zadarius, and he's sacked back at the 38. Another one for Zadarius, his second of the game.
I called it 2 for Zadarius Smith today, and maybe I was off. Maybe I undersold it. Up to 5.5 sacks now, the second on the team, and that's what you thought the 3-time
You're up.
give you.
Well, obviously a strong room. led by the Defensive Player of the Year.
It's the engine. Yeah, the Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett in there. And it was a room that was remade. Obo Okoronkwo was a new face in the room. Zadarius Smith was a new face in the room. Shelby Harris was a new face. Maurice Hurst was a new face. Siaki Ika was a new face. Dalvin Tomlinson was a new face. So you talk about a room that was remade. 7 of your top 8 defensive linemen, or 6 of your top 8 were basically new. 5 of the top 8 for sure were new. So that's what Andrew Berry set out to accomplish. Now you're going to have some tough decisions again, but it was a group that not only lived up to the hype, I would say that it's a group that even exceeded the hype in many ways. You didn't have a lot of gaudy numbers, but what you had was a group that put pressure on the quarterback as well as any team in the league. You had Myles play well. Obo was so good in the games that he played and the toughness he showed to come back from that pec injury. Zadarius' sack numbers weren't there, but in terms of his quarterback hits, in terms of his pressures, in terms of some of the big plays that he made at big moments, he was everything that you wanted, and you got great play out of Maurice Hurst. You got great play out of Shelby Harris. Jordan Elliott played better as well. And then, a guy like Alex Wright over the final part of the season gets 4 sacks in the final 4 games.
Yeah.
To finish with 5 this year. So
him coming on was a huge.
Big. And it's big going forward.
Yeah.
Very big going forward. If this is now a trajectory where that we can count on Alex Wright to be a 7 to 8 sack guy in a season, that's a game changer for this Cleveland Browns team.
Yeah, there is no question. All right, in terms of who is on the roster for next season, at D tackle, it is Dalvin, it is Siaki Ika, and then after it's it. So on the Siaki Ika part, this was a relatively high draft pick. We didn't see much. So he is someone who it's pretty critical that there's a leap is taken. Otherwise, you're going to have to refill this room. Harris, a free agent. Elliott, a free agent, a guy that he's been around a long time. They've liked him. And then Maurice Hurst.
So Maurice Hurst, and we get to see him again here today. He's working. I know he would love to be back, and I thought he played very, very well in the 13 games he played. He had that interception. By the way, Griff, great job.
Great job, Griff.
Griff,
job.
elite.
That's why you get a day. That's why you get a day in Kansas.
That's why you get a day in Ohio now. I mean, that was good. And I thought
we're going to maybe get to break bread with him next week.
I know. I can't wait.
It's going to be
exciting.
exciting.
I can't wait. What if
there's an alley in downtown where we could watch him ply his trade?
I bet we could.
Maybe we could, you know what I mean? Set up some operations.
I bet we could.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. A little.
What'd you just tell me?
A little hustle.
A little bit.
He's Bold Nationals there.
Is it in downtown?
No.
Suck.
Yeah.
I don't leave.
Fine.
There's
I don't.
That's
I don't
on
leave.
the other side of town.
There's got to be lanes downtown. I think we can. I think we can figure that out. But I just want to say, Griff, I thought what you did so well there was you painted such a rich picture. You had
a rich tapestry.
In other words, you included Zagura a lot. Congratulations, Griff. Good job.
Rich tapestry. You've provided the color. Where would a tapestry
he did
be
a great
without
job.
color?
Color analyst.
By the way, Uno might get Wally pipped on his birthday.
Oh yeah, today is Uno's birthday.
Today
That's
is
why he's
Uno.
not here.
I don't know what Uno's doing.
Happy birthday, Uno!
I got a text from Uno. Ocho and I got a text from Uno at 1:15, and he goes, "Glad to see the show stayed on the rails for a whopping 90 seconds." And I go, "Were you counting the open on that?"
So
I go, "I want you to know
this is the show, Uno."
And then I said,
"Does he not get the show?"
I did want you to know. The only thing I put in segment 1 was it's Friday
That's
with
right.
a question mark.
And you got
That's right.
27 minutes of
took off.
greatness from a couple of
28
big B's.
That's what you got out of
Fortnite. Bootsy
That's right.
with the rescue.
It's everything
I
you
knew
need.
something would come in.
Things happen. You know, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? It's topical.
Yeah.
It's topical.
Boys, here's a name that we know. This just happened the last couple of minutes. And speaking of the defensive line, Emmanuel Ogbah being released by the Dolphins.
Interesting. He
Signed a
would be-
4-year, $65 million deal after back-to-back 9-sack seasons in 90 and 91. Or 20 and 21. 20 and 21.
What did he do the last couple of years?
Must have been quiet.
I know he was.
Yeah,
I think
he's
he was
out there.
injured this year. He would be an interesting, certainly, a guy that was drafted by Andrew Berry the first
time around. Yeah.
Ogbah last year 5.5 sacks. He was injured in 2022. Only had 1 sack. Had 5.5 this past season. He could be a good rotational piece for this Cleveland Browns team as well. You got decisions to make in defense tackle, but we got sidetracked. We started on Siaki Ika.
Yes.
I never answered what you.
Yeah.
He's got to get better.
Yeah.
His tape against Cincinnati, the game where he got to play, was bad.
Yeah. Yep.
So you've got to be
Except a
going
full year.
You've got to be going into this thinking, okay, we need to see a lot more from him this offseason before we're comfortable with him in the rotation. Remember, he's basically largely inactive for this rookie season. And I think that is probably, like, I'm going to guess Pro Football Focus, if I recall from that game, his grade was very, and not that they are the end all be all. They most certainly are not. But I'm pretty sure it was a tough LNC right here. Defense. Siaki Ika. Yeah, he was the lowest graded defender on our team. He got a 28.7 from them. And so that's a room where I know Maurice Hurst wants to come back. Shelby Harris would like to come back. I'm sure Jordan Elliott would. You're looking for guys, maybe a draft one. And if there has been not a blind spot, but we've invested decent picks.
Yep.
3rd-round pick in Jordan Elliott. And he's turned out to be a serviceable pro. Like, he's absolutely a guy who could be in your rotation. 4th-round pick in Togiai. 4th-round pick in Perion.
Yep.
3rd-round pick now in Ika. And you don't know what you've got at this point.
No. So there's work. Big time work.
There's some work.
There. All right. You good?
I think so.
All right. Defensive end, Miles, Obo, Alex Wright, Isaiah McGuire. This room, this is why we talked about the Alex Wright part at the end of last year. Okay. Pretty good.
This room's in great shape, and my guess is they will add one piece to it. Now, if they think that Alex Wright can take that ascension, maybe the piece they decide to spend a little bit of money on, could be an Agba, could be Zadarius Smith coming back, or they could decide, all right, we're actually going to spend some more money on one more defensive tackle here, and we're going to be good with Miles and Alex Wright and Obo as our top 3.
Yeah. And that's viable because of what we saw from Alex at the end of the season. So
Yes.
Big questions from Ocho on this. Bigger priority this offseason, find someone to play on the other side of Miles or getting help at the defensive tackle position.
It's a great question. It's really what we were just touching on there. And I think it's going to come down to the internal confidence and belief in the combination because we like to play 3. So do they feel strongly with Miles, Alex Wright, and Obo as those 3 that play a lot? And certainly in pass rushing situations together. And if the answer to that is yes, then maybe that's the direction that you go and you bring in another veteran to kind of round out the room that can be a situational pass rusher. And if that's the case, then I think you're going to make sure you bring in a big-time defensive tackle because I think you would have a little bit of funds to bring another guy who can penetrate from the inside. Now, it's a lot going to be based on the internal evaluation, I think, of Alex Wright and Obo coming back from his injury.
Yes. Number 2, who showed the most improvement in 2023, Wright or Elliott? This question I don't understand.
Alex Wright.
Yeah.
Completely.
Fact or fiction, Dalvin Tomlinson was the Browns' best offseason acquisition prior to the season starting. So non-Flacco.
I think he was very good. I still think it's fiction. I still think it's Dustin Hopkins in terms of what he meant to the team, but I think Dalvin Thompson
gets forgotten because he didn't get to play at the end.
And he got injured.
And he got, like if he doesn't get injured at the end, he's probably he's a Pro Bowler. He's all of, he might even have been all Pro.
Right.
If he doesn't get injured at the end. So we forget how critical he was. It was unbelievable what he did all season long.
Dalvin was great. Dalvin was exactly what you wanted him to be.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, coming up next, and coming up still ahead, you're going to hear Daniel Jeremiah, his thoughts on a lot of things around the league in advance of the Combine. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And be part of one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. Join Next Gen STM, presented by Ticketmaster, the official waitlist of your Cleveland Browns. Being a Next Gen STM is the best chance to become a season ticket member in future seasons. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/nextgenstm to reserve your spot today. Time for the Griff Stat of the Day.
Fact of the day, fact of the day, fact of the day. It's the Griff fact of the day. It's a fact of the day. We need that in the thing. I know you're reading right off there. I know.
Griff Fact of the Day.
That's right.
Fact of the day. Go ahead, Griff. Fresh
Well,
off your
fellas,
day, by the way.
What was that?
Congratulations on your day yesterday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I know you
enjoyed
do.
it.
I love that Griff's actually delivering the
He's
fact of the day. I don't know why
delivering his
Uno
fact
has
of the day.
Usurped him.
Uno's a mic hog.
He's like Bootsy on the court.
He is a little bit like Bootsy on the court. He's got to share the mic. Share the mic a little bit.
Look at Griff. Look at
There's
Griff.
Griff.
Cam.
Looks great.
Griff.
Go ahead.
Gibbs
Go ahead, Griff.
figured it out. So for today's fact of the day, it comes from Sportico.
Okay.
And 2 days ago, Sportico came out with a list of the most valuable teams in the U.S.
Oh, I love this.
And I found this to be pretty interesting. So Steph Curry was drafted by the Golden State Warriors in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And during his rookie season, the Warriors' team valuation was listed at $315 million.
Yep.
15 years later, the Warriors' team valuation now sits at $8.2 billion.
Jeez, what?
Okay.
Which now makes them the second most valuable sports franchise.
In the world. So more valuable than Real Madrid, Man
This
United, Man City, Bayern, all of it. This is the whole world. The Golden State Warriors are the second most valuable sports
I believe
franchise
it's
in the
just
world.
the US.
No, it is not. I saw this list.
Really?
It's not. It's the whole world. The Cowboys are number one on this list. They're number two, which I think is a false valuation. Like, they're worth a lot of money. There's no question. The other part, in addition to Steph and all the winning and all of that, is they built a new stadium on the other side of the bay. You know the area better than me,
Yeah.
but it's in San Francisco now. I think it's amazing that they're worth more than like the L.A. Rams. That they're worth more than Real Madrid. That they're worth more than
Hold on. We said 8 point what billion?
8.2 billion.
8.28 to be exact.
So we'll call it 8.3.
Yeah.
All right.
Would you like to hear the top 10?
Hold on, he's doing some math. And then I will. But the European soccer teams are on it because I
All
looked
right,
down
so
at
this
some.
is 8.3 billion. You said it started off at 315 million?
315 million, yes.
Oops.
Oh, that sucks because you went to all that work to get to the 8 billion.
So it's gone up 26,000 times in value. Is that possible?
I guess.
Do that number times 315 million.
Yeah.
No, it's gone up 2,600 times.
Yeah.
830.
That's crazy.
All right.
Does it seem like the Golden State? So they're worth more than the Lakers, but they
Yes.
don't have a brand new stadium that they own like they do.
Yeah.
Like, so that's a part of it. The Lakers don't have that stadium.
Yes, the Lakers.
Give me
sit
your
at
top
4.
10.
26 times. In
All right.
value.
Actually, let me
So-
see if we can guess it. So Cowboys are 1.
Yes.
Golden State is 2. All right.
Correct.
I would say the second most valuable NFL franchise is the Rams. Would I be wrong or right?
You're correct.
What are they on the list?
Oh, excuse me. Actually, no. They're
Incorrect. Third. Giants?
Niners?
Giants, yep.
Giants are 2.
Giants are listed at 6.
Okay. NYG. Philly?
Philly is not in the top 10.
Niners?
Niners sits at 9.
Who's in
Patriots.
Patriots.
Patriots are at 8.
Steelers?
No, too high.
Who do we have so far? We have Dallas, Rams.
Dallas, Rams, Patriots, Giants, Niners. Who's 2? Who are we missing that's 2? There's an
Miami.
obvious one that we've got to.
Miami,
I don't think
Baltimore.
that stadium would put them up there.
So for the NFL, you'll have the Dallas Cowboys, which you already got, the Giants. Then it'll
Mentioned.
be the Rams.
So the Giants are 2.
Yeah.
That's not,
Okay,
okay, that's
all right,
right.
so we have
Okay.
two.
So I was looking for.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead.
Keep
Continue.
going.
Giants are at 2. Then you have the Rams, the Patriots, the 49ers, and you're missing 1.
Seattle.
No.
Vegas.
Vegas.
Raiders.
No.
No.
Jets.
Yeah, Woody Johnson. Sure. New York.
And
Where,
they
where
share
are
a
the
stadium.
Bears? Where are the Bears?
Oh, that gets down.
Oh, they're down there.
All right. So that means the NFL has what, 6 of the top 10.
Correct.
So the Yankees are in the top 10.
Yes.
Warriors.
The Lakers are in the top 10.
Yes.
And
The Warriors.
Real Madrid.
No, they're not. I don't
Not a
think
single
there's-
soccer team?
I don't believe so.
Nope.
So the 4th would be Dodgers.
Mm-mm.
What?
Nope. Keep it in the NBA.
Knicks.
Knicks.
The Dodgers are not a top. That seems Chavez Ravine needs replacing. So Knicks. All right. So there was a time when this first started happening when Real Madrid was the most valuable franchise. Period. Like more than the Cowboys, it was Real Madrid. And the idea that they're like down this list, they're still the most valuable. I think they're in the 20s on this list. The idea that they've fallen that far. Or rather, that these have all grown this much exponentially.
The fact that in
crazy.
15 years the Warriors have returned 26x on $315 million it's
impossible.
It's like the best investment that's ever been made.
Yeah, other than Jerry Jones buying the Cowboys for $100 million, and now they're worth $10 billion.
That was a long time. That's
over 30, 40 years, though. True.
Yeah, we're talking 15 years.
15 years. Yeah. No, it's wild. That's crazy. The Warriors one doesn't seem real to me. It seems like I don't understand it. Because
who would buy them for that?
Who would ever pay that? Whereas I think somebody would pay that for the Cowboys. Somebody would pay that for the Giants. Somebody would pay that for the Rams rocket ship.
Yeah.
NBA is not. You're running towards the end of Curry.
Yep.
Like what are the Warriors after Curry? Do they go right back to what they were before?
I think part of it's being in San Francisco.
Bay Area.
Yeah.
So the Bay Area real estate. They must obviously they own the building.
The stadium is.
The Warriors must own that. That's wild. That's a fantastic Griff stat of the day. I thought yesterday's I gave you like a 76. That's a 98 right there.
Griff.
I love that one. That's what happens. When you're coming off your day, you throw it high heat. Right there. 102.
Give
Beautiful.
him the
Love
heater.
Give him the heater, Ricky.
Griff. Yes.
There he is. All right. Daniel Jeremiah going to give you all sorts of expertise in advance of the Combine coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Don't miss Billy Joel, Rod Stewart together for the first time ever. It's Friday, September 13th, Cleveland Browns Stadium. Tickets are on sale now. Visit clevelandbrownsstadium.com/Billy and Rod.
Billy and Rod 2024, one night only.
There you go. All right, Daniel Jeremiah with – come on now.
Come on now. Let's go see Billy and
He
Rod.
was so incredulous when they were like making fun of it because he was trying to – he did the hologram of his sister. But then they were saying, what are you going to do now, baby Billy? You going to dig up Mom's bones? And then he was like, he's not having it.
Well,
kind of.
desecrate him.
A little bit like that.
I thought that they were maybe going to be more appreciative of that hologram.
I thought so. Well, yeah, Eli didn't like it at all. None.
No.
Zero.
Maybe he's like, come on now. That's a rental. I'm destroying the hologram.
By the way, Bible Billy's Bible Bunkers was awesome. It's a great program. Yeah, for sure. All right, here's Daniel Jeremiah's pre-combine presser. All sorts of things touched on here. The Young versus Stroud debates a year later. NIL affecting the draft and the draft process. Where the Browns could potentially look in the second round. Let's have a listen.
Appreciate you guys.
You're down
here. It almost kind of feels like Christmas when we do this call every year because it's like this is really happening. We're really getting into the thick of it. We're past the Super Bowl. All the attention kind of goes to the offseason and all these teams trying to get better through free agency and the draft. So excited about the combine coming up. It's it's going to be a fun draft. You got quarterbacks, you've got receivers, you've got tackles, offensive tackles. That to me is kind of the highlight that we're working with here. A lot of depth at those positions and we can jump into this thing and go wherever you want. So appreciate you taking the time to join me.
Just going to ask, obviously, let's start with the quarterbacks. It seems like Caleb is kind of the number one guy, regardless of who might take him. But just looking back at the past couple of years, just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on maybe him versus the field, kind of given particularly how last year played out and some others.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. This is, it's a good quarterback draft. Caleb to me is a top guy, and when you look at him specifically in his evaluation, try and stack him up with guys from the past. I think just talent. If we're just looking at just pure talent, you can put him up there with really any of the guys we've had, just in terms of arm strength, athleticism, the creativity that he has, the playmaking ability that he has. Now, he's not as clean or as polished as some guys we've had over the last few years. Obviously, Stroud was kind of ready-made and just came out there and hit the ground running. I think there's still, some more growth and some cleaning up to do with Caleb's game. But talent-wise, it's pretty special. Yeah, I've made the comment about him, and you're going to have Patrick Mahomes' name come up. And look, you don't want to compare somebody to the best player on the planet, but just in terms of how he kind of plays with the creativity and a little flair and in all the different types of throws he can make in terms of driving the ball, layering the ball, extending plays, all those things, there are some similarities there. Pat needed some time to clean some things up and got a chance to sit for a year. Obviously, I don't think Caleb's going to be afforded the same luxury in that department, but I think you can, put a plan in place where you put more on his plate the longer that he goes. But Mahomes' situation at Texas Tech, I thought was very similar to Caleb's situation at USC. I think people have to get it out of their head, comparing, Caleb and having in your mind this is like the Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush USC days. Those days are long gone. Pat's last year at Texas Tech, they were 128th in scoring defense. This year, USC was 121st. So he was constantly chasing points. And I thought that led to some of the bad habits that creeped in a little bit this year. But, one of the numbers on him, the other one is he lost 8 games at USC. They gave up an average of 43 points in those games. He was 12-0 when they managed to allow less than 34 points. So it's tough to play quarterback when you're chasing points like that constantly.
Hi, DJ. Thanks so much for doing this. When we look at the Super Bowl this year, Brock Purdy and Patrick a very different draft paths to that stage. I'm curious more broadly how you think the evaluation of quarterbacks has changed over the last 10 years or so for yourself in the industry, and if there's a quarterback or two in this year's class that speaks to that change.
That's a great question. I think I was talking to a general manager the other day, and I said I think that maybe the only thing harder than playing quarterback in this league might be evaluating quarterback coming into this league, because every time you think you've got an answer, you've got some things figured out, you've got the formula, somebody comes out and flips it on its head. So It's something you're always trying to learn. I think kind of it goes in little waves, and right now it seems to be there's a lot of talk and chatter about guys that have experience and have played a lot of games, and Brock Purdy's kind of the poster child for that. But guys that have been in college for a while, you're not going to get the time to develop in the NFL that maybe you would previously because the financial commitment isn't as big. It's easier for teams to cycle through guys, throw them out there for 2 years. It doesn't work. We can flush them and go on to the next one. So you want them, once they get on the field, and they have to get on the field early, to have some more experience under their belt. And that's been something I think people have given more credence to the last couple of years, is the guys who have some starts, which in this draft, it's interesting because you've got, Nix and Penix who have just played a ton of football. And people can talk about where the ceiling is for these guys, or, how much growth there is. These guys are ready to play. They're going to step in and have a chance to start right away, and it's not going to be too big for them because of all the experience that they have. So that's kind of one of the trends I would say that that's come up a lot lately.
Hey, DJ, thanks again for doing this. I wanted, now that we've hit full throttle, so to speak, on the transfer portal in college, I'm curious. It used to be that if a player had multiple schools, multiple coaches, it was a red flag for the talent evaluators. I'm wondering, has that diminished entirely? And then secondly, does the NIL sort of give talent evaluators another inflection point? You can kind of see how a kid might have handled fame and fortune before they even get to the pros.
Yeah, I think there's good sides to it. I think you brought up a great point there at the end. One of the, there's two things. If you look at players that you miss on, I know I always go back. There's always plenty to choose from of guys that I've missed on over the years, and try and self-scout. And when you talk to teams and get information on maybe why it didn't work out, two things happen a lot are they don't know how to handle adversity. And then other thing is sometimes they don't know how to handle, money, fame, all that kind of stuff that goes along with it, all the distractions that money can bring. So now you're getting a chance to see them in that situation, basically be a professional before they even get to you, and see how they handle themselves. So I think that can be a plus. The transfer thing in terms of impacting guys and grades, no, I mean it's not really an issue anymore. I know once upon a time you could say, oh, why didn't it work out here or there? It would come up in draft meetings. But I mean, I'm getting to the point now where I'm old enough to remember when I first started in 2003 that I remember discussions in the draft room about a player having tattoos. And it's like, think about how silly that is when we fast forward 20 years ago. So some things become less and less important, and nobody really cares about the transfer thing anymore.
DJ, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. I'm curious, as I'm sure you've talked to like many people around the league, I'm curious why you felt like, looking back, so many people had Bryce Young number one over CJ Stroud. Considering the years, I know a lot of factors are involved in the years that they had, but what do you feel like people were kind of low on CJ Stroud? And do you feel like at all what happened will kind of change the perspective of teams as they evaluate these quarterbacks?
Yeah, to me, it's hard. It's hard to figure it out every year. You can say some years it's the smaller guy that's better. Other years, a bigger guy. Some years it's a big school guy. Some years it changes all the time. But with CJ, I knew he was a really gifted thrower. Like the combine last year, I said it was as good a combine session as I've ever seen from a quarterback. Always on balance. Every type of throw, always using the amount of pace on the ball that's necessary, not more, not less. He was outstanding as a thrower. I thought with him, prior to the Georgia game, it was okay. Well, can he create? He's kind of a stationary guy. Can he create and use his athleticism? And then the Georgia game showed you in that game, absolutely he could do that. But then outside of that, to be able to play as fast as he has I don't know that I've ever seen a rookie come in and see everything so clearly and play with just ultimate confidence. I've never, I don't know that I've seen a rookie do that and trusting what he sees like that. So to me, I don't know if anybody could predict it would be that good, that fast. So that was, congrats to the Texans. They hit an absolute home run. And then with Bryce, hey, let's be a little bit patient here. I know it didn't look good last year. But with quarterbacks, you think about the things you'd love to have in place. We always talk about the 3 Ps. You want protection, you want playmakers, and you want a play caller. Well, he had a bunch of different play callers. His protection wasn't very good, and they don't have much in terms of playmakers. So let's let some improvements take place in Carolina before we cast him off. So I'm still bullish on him and excited to see him get a little bit better opportunity.
I was wondering, as far as what should a typical fan who wants to watch the combine, what are some of the things they should be looking for that will make it an enjoyable and learning experience for them? What should they be watching out for? And number 2, is there anything you would change about draft coverage that would be beneficial for fans?
Ooh, good questions. Well, I think you just come for Rich Eisen's wit, first of all. I think that's what's, you're on TV that long. I think that's our number one starter there. So that's why you keep it entertaining there. A lot of pop culture references. In terms of, what to look for, look, the 40s are the highlight for everybody because you have history and you can compare what this guy ran this year to what, Hall of Famer ran in years past. So there's context to it. I think context is very key to the combine and just being able to relate what you're seeing now versus not only what you're going to see on the field in games, but also in reference to what we've seen previous guys do at the same event, the same surface, all that stuff. It's an apples to apples comparison. So that's something I think that's good to watch. I think the by position stuff changes in terms of where the importance lies, where like a pass rusher, an edge rusher, the vertical and the broad jump are probably going to be, we're going to care more about that. It's an explosive movement, and it correlates pretty well. Offensive linemen, you look at the 10, how quickly they get out, and then when you get out to the field work, and one of the things to keep an eye on, you can find out who's really in shape, like whose hands are on their hips, who's bending over. Who has a big gas tank and has really been putting in work and is ready to go. So lots of different things you can look at there. What I would change, the changes I would like to see, we'll never see. I would like to see competition. You're never going to see competition. Agents and the Players Association would never go for it. But man, it sure would be fun to be sitting up there with Rich, watching Terrion Arnold go out there and cover, Marvin Harrison Jr. That would be a heck of a lot of fun. But I say that knowing it will never happen.
And Daniel, seems like a decade ago, the NFL was trying to find ways to limit the number of underclassmen headed to the draft every year. And now it seems like we're almost at the other end of the spectrum. What are GMs saying about it? Are they okay with it? And how do you think it, changes their approach to this draft?
I think they're okay with it and excited about, the future of it. I think we're we're in the middle year now where, we have, we don't have that influx of juniors, but we don't have, some of the top guys from the previous year because it's just this new phenomenon. So I think it's made this year's group a little light. I think next year, what we're going to end up doing is we'll just have a more experienced draft class, which is good for I think it's good for everybody. It's good for the player. He gets more development there. He finishes, college. That's great for them. It's great for the college coaches. They have, older, more mature players that are experienced. It works for evaluators. It's just more, there's more canvas to look at there. There's more to evaluate. There's more of a track record, good or bad. So that makes it easier for them. So I think it's great all the way around. We're just in that in-between year this year where I think at certain positions specifically, it really falls off earlier than it has in the past. And I don't think the draft is quite as deep because we don't have the underclassmen, but yet we don't have the, all those experienced guys that we'll get next year. So I think it's kind of a weird year that way.
Hi, Daniel. Looking more at the later second round and kind of in context of the Browns, who is, I guess, a really intriguing prospect or two that stands out in that grouping that maybe isn't, I guess, talked about as much?
Yeah, second round grouping. So if we're looking at the Cleveland Browns, I mean, you're looking at some D tackles, maybe some linebackers. So if I look in that range, second round defensive tackles, Braden Fisk is one that I really, really like from Florida State, who transferred out of the MAC. He's a really, really good player. He's going to test like a freak too. He'll test well at the combine, but real quick, shoots gaps, effort chase. He can play every position. He finds the ball. He's got really good instincts. not real long, but a good player. Had a great week at the Senior Bowl, so he's one in that mix. You look at an intriguing guy with Mason Smith from LSU, who doesn't have a ton of production, but he's 6'6", 310 pounds. Really good as a freshman, or really good his first year. Wasn't, coming off an ACL last year, didn't quite see the same player, but has some quickness, has some traits. Just get him fully healthy. I think there's kind of an upside play there with a guy like that. So those are a couple D tackles. The linebackers in that second round range. I think Colson, who we talked about from Michigan, probably in there, who's just real instinctive, plays downhill, can cover tight ends. He was hurt. He was beat up a lot this year, played through it at Michigan, kind of show you the toughness and the leadership that you want there from that position. And Peyton Wilson from NC State kind of remind me of Kiko Alonso coming out of college, but wrestling background, has had some injuries, but really, really instinctive, ton of speed, ton of range, just a really good player. So those two positions in the second round range, that's some intriguing names for me.
Hey, Daniel, just in terms of the Ravens, I know in your first mock you have them going offensive tackle in the first round, and certainly they have potential needs there with some questions at that tackle spot. I'm curious if you'd like the options for the Ravens who could be available at the end of the first round at the tackle position, and just kind of what you make of this tackle class.
Yeah, it's a loaded tackle class just in terms of that top group. I mean, there's 10, 11 guys that are really interesting. I think we'll see a bunch of starters, a bunch of day one starters out of that tackle group. In terms of trying to guess, especially pre-free agency of what the Ravens will do, they're one of the reasons why they've been so good is they've been a best available team, and everybody says that, but what it usually means is best available at the position we need. The Ravens truly will use best available. They will take the best guy that's there, and if it happens to be a tackle, they'll do it. If it's another position, they won't.
30.
So I think in that one, I had Mims falling down there. Probably unlikely he makes it that far. A huge mammoth tackle from Georgia, but you've got Tyler Guyton and Mims as kind of these two big, just kind of freaks, like just big, physical, athletic, kind of rare guys. They're a little bit raw, but there's a huge upside there. If one of those guys were to fall to him, I think that
you're up. All right, there you go. That a little bit of a table setter for next week at the Combine. So much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. An answer from NBC.
Oh, baby.
I don't think he understands the question. I asked him, were you aware of how close Mr. Z and Bootsy were to a Vic last night on Fortnite? He just writes back 5th place.
Yeah, we got fifth because we
quit
when we were in the top 10.
Yeah. So I
we only need to take out 4 other duos.
You were right there.
Maybe today.
Maybe tonight, Bootsy. We'll see. We have to expand his jurisdiction on when he can play.
Let's go.
Because right now it was supposed to be quite limited.
I'll be looking for a text. I'll be looking for a. Are you ready, Uncle Z?
You ready, Uncle Z?
Yeah.
Next Level's next. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.